Namaste. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across the planet, around the world. My name is Greg Prescott from in5d.com. And tonight we have another spirit chat going on. So curious. I've been posting. I'm going to do a screenshot here. I am posting on Facebook, and I know that I'm still in Facebook jail. I can't post any outgoing links until Wednesday afternoon. But even so, I'm posting, like, for example, here about the spirit chat, one like on that, and then about half an hour ago, no, 0 likes. This is highly unusual, especially when you have over 16,000 followers. So I'm curious, are these posts even showing up on your Facebook? Do me a favor, go to my Facebook page and check to see if these posts have even shown up. Even this one, I posted several days ago after the live chat. So not that many people even saw or noticed it. So I'm getting a comment on YouTube, Debbie, saying, I never see you in Facebook anymore, only YouTube. So I know I'm being heavily shadow banned. I tried to leave a heads up here, hosting a open forum spirit chat this evening, 9:30. Like I said, no one really sees it. So that's, once again, Facebook effing us over. So yeah, but do me a favor and check to see if these are even showing up on my page. Obviously, they're not showing up on the news feed anywhere. So just a quick reminder, stop over to, I had a dream about this I want to talk about too, but please stop over to in5d.net and you can support us through the purchase of a t-shirt there. These t-shirts have amazing energy to them because I use the 99.9% quartz crystal sand in the dye. And then I use positive affirmations and ho'oponopono on top of that into the shirts. So they're loaded with all this magical energy. But I had a dream about these shirts the other day, and I was shown that they're actually helping people. They're healing people. And someone is about to buy one of these. I was shown that someone's, because you guys know I see things before they happen. Someone's about to buy one of these shirts that's been experiencing deep childhood trauma, and it's going to help them transmute those issues. I don't know how or why, but I was shown that in a dream, so I thought I'd pass that on. But yeah, a lot of people are saying that when they wear them, they're getting, having magical dreams, and they can feel the energy of them. So I thought I'd pass that along. If you're one of those people, maybe I'm specifically talking to you, but that's that. Also, another way you can help support in 5D, seeing how we have 0 support on Facebook, is through Patreon. So you can just go to patreon.com/in5d. For as little as $1.11 a month, you can get your name listed on our Patreon wall of eternal gratitude. It's also listed on in5d.com as well. You also get alerted for these chats, and when I upload these videos, you can comment on them on Patreon as well. So at $5.55, you get all that, plus the ad-free articles and the Insiders Club private chat held on the first Wednesday of each month. And for $11.11, you get all that, plus the exclusive mid-month energy report, which I just put out the other day. So you get that, as well as afterthoughts videos, which I put out each month. And there's always some things I forget to cover, so I put those in that video as well. And then there's other levels as well. So just want to thank everybody who has joined us on our Patreon family. Thank you for your support. It does mean a great deal to me. So today, I guess I'm on the topic of dreams right now. Today I went to the beach. You know, I always do my walk of gratitude when I go there. And I play bocce ball. I didn't bring my guitar this time. I just brought my bocce ball, and I, for the most part, played 3 hours straight of bocce ball. I would stop and have some water, and I would just continue. And for 3 hours, I was playing bocce ball. And by the time I got home, I was kind of tired, so I took a nap. And I had a dream in this nap that, well, commonly in my dreams, I'm always in my late 20s. I don't see old people in my dreams. Everyone's usually younger than me. I'm usually one of the oldest people in my dreams. And like I said, I'm in my late 20s. Most of the people that I see are in their early 20s, maybe late teens. My older sister, Lola, predeceased my other sister and I in 2011. And when I see her in my dreams, she's about 23 years old or so. And she's young and she's healthy and she's beautiful. So, you know, once again, so here I am in this dream. Another common theme is here I've been living in Florida since the early 2000s, but yet when I dream, I'm going back to my home back in upstate New York, where I showed you that sign. I'll put it up there for people that didn't see it. But when I go in upstate New York, it's called a ghost sign. And that's just an old sign that stays up for historical purposes. And here's one right here that was from my hometown. And it's called Sarasota Flower. And of all places I live is, you know, I live in Sarasota. That's been there all my life. It was probably, this company came into existence in the late 1800s. And this kind of sign was probably up since the early 1900s. And it's been up there in my hometown that long. But I never put one and one together, how it says Sarasota. And of course, where am I now? Sarasota, flower. So then you could look at that as flower, Flower. And I was just alerted from one of my Patreon family members that Florida, I guess the etymology of Florida boils down to the word flower. So Sarasota, Florida, flower. Isn't that something? So, and as I mentioned, when I dream, most of my dreams have me back in upstate New York. So I had this dream earlier today, after I got back from the beach. Had this dream where I'm back in my hometown and I'm up at the South Side Mall. I'm at one end of the parking lot, and apparently I was supposed to be at a softball game. I used to play City League men's softball after I graduated high school. You know, a lot of us who played baseball, you know, when you graduate, after you graduate high school, you end up playing in the men's softball leagues, you know, so you can continue playing some kind of sports on that level. So yeah, I used to play men's softball back then on this one team, and that's the team I was with in the stream. But I was running late for the game, and I saw this kid in the parking lot. He must have been like 10 years old. He's like, "Your team's getting crushed 35-0." And I had on my uniform, but it looked kind of like it was old and dingy, like, you know, an ancient relic almost. So I had to go to the other side of the parking lot for some reason, and I did. And I drive over there, and of course, the best parking spots were available. That's what I do. I manifest amazing parking spots, and I had my choice of the best parking spots there. So I park in one of them, and I go into the mall. And as soon as I enter the mall, there's a gymnasium there. And my softball team's on the other side of the gymnasium. Apparently the game was over with and they got crushed. So I made a little joke to them to kind of lighten things up a little. And I noticed there was a basketball hoop and backboard near where everybody was hanging out. So for some reason, I just decided to jump up and slap the back of the backboard, but I realized I could jump a lot higher now than I've ever been able to before. And I found this very peculiar. So I was looking around for a basketball and I eventually found one. And I just took a shot and it missed, but bounced right back to me. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to dunk the ball. I feel like I can. Now, I've got, Russian, Polish lineage in me. I've got these big, Polish bones. I run like I have a refrigerator on my back. I could be Woody Harrelson on White Men Can't Jump. I can't jump. But in this dream, I could. It was like a superpower. And so I jump up and I'm way above the rim and I slam the ball down. Like the rim's like down by my knees, but I slam it down so hard it bounces down on the floor and back up through the rim. And then I reach down on the rim and I use that to lower myself back to the floor. And I realized that I can jump as high as I want. So I jumped up and I touched the top of the backboard and realized I can go a lot higher if I really want to, but this is nothing. Then I used the backboard to kind of lower myself back down because I wasn't sure how to control gravity at that point. I had moved beyond. That was my super ability apparently in this dream, was to transcend beyond gravity, to make myself as light as a feather essentially. But it was just so cool and so real. And I was wondering, can anyone else do it? So there's a guy that used to play on my team and back in the day, and I asked him, I said, try here, dunk the ball, and he couldn't get anywhere close to it. So I realized I was the only one in this dream that had that ability. But what that shows me is that all of us, all of you who are doing our work, we're the first ones that are going to have these abilities. Other people will see them and they'll be like, wow, I want to do that. And you guys will be helping them, helping to show them how to gain these abilities. And what it really boils down to is just doing your work spiritually and eventually unlocking the codons in your DNA that prevent us from being able to do stuff like that. So I want to give a quick shout out to everyone that's joined us on YouTube. I know this was a later start than I normally have. Normally I start at like 7, maybe 8, but this time was 9:30. So surprised there's anyone here at this point. But hi to namaste to Matthias, Star, Debbie, Andrea, Thomas, Nicole, Melissa, Tracy, Crystal, Boogie, Moon, Indigo, Herbert, Scotty, Mark, and everyone. I'm sorry, I just can't name everyone, but I'd love to. But there's a lot of people there that are joining us, as well as to Desiree, Gary, and Rob here on Zoom and in Facebook, or I'm sorry, on YouTube. I'm posting a link to Zoom if you want to join us in here. Now, many of us have recurring dreams. Like, for example, many of you out there have that dream, myself included, where we can fly. And all it takes is, for me at least, all I have to do is just arch my back and I'll swoop down and back up again. And the funny thing is, in these dreams of flying, normally I'm afraid of heights. I don't like heights, but even though I don't like heights, I still want to jump out of a airplane with a parachute just so I can face that fear. But in my dream, I can go as high as I want and there is no fear. It feels like I've been doing that all my life outside of this third dimensional incarnation on the other side of the veil. It feels like that's what we naturally do, is fly. I think a lot of you also understand this too, when it comes to talking. I don't feel like talking is my natural way of being. It feels like it's not even telepathy, it's beyond telepathy. It feels like I should be able to send a hologram of everything I want to say to somebody. This is what I got when I got my galactic download. I received something like that, where I just knew all this information that told me to eventually, build in 5D. But I feel like that's our natural way of communicating, is sending holograms to people that explains everything instantly, instead of having to do what I'm doing right now through verbal communication. This seems so archaic. And at times I struggle with this. I've gotten better with communication in the third dimensional reality, but it's not a comfortable way of communicating for me. And I guarantee there's a lot of you that feel the same way. But there are, a number of recurring dreams that many of us have. Flying is one of them. I find that when you do your inner work, and especially the more fear you release, the more your dreams will become either incredibly mundane, like you're just walking a dog, because you don't have to, your brain doesn't have to worry about processing. Your subconscious doesn't have to worry about processing any fear or stress that you've experienced throughout the day. So it's only left to give you either those mundane dreams of, just like I said, walking your dog, maybe something along that line, or some, in my case, it's usually prophetic, something that hasn't happened, that's about to happen. Like those tie-dye shirts. Someone's going to be buying a tie-dye shirt that has deep childhood trauma, and that's going to help release that trauma for that person or people that buy that or those shirts. I've seen many things like the three tidal waves, the event. Lots of things come to me that I've shared with everyone. I also did the New Year's Eve predictions of things that I see coming for us as well. You can check out that show here on YouTube and or on in5d.com. But yeah, once you work on yourself, you'll get those prophetic dreams. You'll start seeing things, and if you're not, um, ask your guides, your guardian angels, for help to see if you can have those kind of dreams. Huge shout out once again. Thank you, Phil. I greatly appreciate that for the super chat. Love and blessings to all here, says Phil. Thank you, brother. And that is part of it, though. It's the main part of it is releasing that inner fear, and you will have those prophetic dreams. I've put a lot of my dreams on in 5D. There's an article called 3 Dreams. In the first dream, I was a time traveling creator god. And dream number 2, I was manifesting on a UFO mothership. And dream number 3 explained the memory wipe, what happens before we incarnate and how our memory gets wiped. So that manifesting, the second dream, manifesting on a UFO mothership, was pretty cool, because in that dream, remember how I was saying that, a lot of times it feels like our natural way of communication is something not like this verbal communication. It's telepathy, it's sending holograms. Well, in this dream, it looked like about 12. I'm not going to say there was 12, it could have been 13, but it felt like 12 of us that were standing in a circle. And there was a hologram in the center of the circle. And what we were doing we were all contributing to the manifestation of whatever it was that we were manifesting. I wish I could remember specifically what that was. But what would happen telepathically is one person would add something to that hologram. And telepathically, everyone would say, oh my God, that's amazing. And then somebody else would say, what if we did this telepathically? And that person would add to that hologram and change it for the better. And all the rest of us would be going, oh my God, that is amazing. We all love this. What if and we just kept going back and forth, building onto this hologram telepathically, to make something that was co-created amongst all of us that was just amazing and beautiful. Like I said, though, I don't remember specifically what that was. All I do know is that I was on this mothership manifesting with a group of some people. Just don't remember what we were manifesting in that group. Oftentimes, too, we will time travel in our dreams, and a lot of these topics I'm talking about, there are articles on N5D about time traveling in your dreams. There was one time where I sent myself back from the future into the present time, which was at that time, I think it was 2008 or 2009, something like that. I forgot right now, but I sent myself back in time from 26 years into the future because we had not reached the collective consciousness had not reached the critical mass number, and we needed more help. So there apparently it wasn't just me. There was others that were sent back in time to help with the critical mass numbers. But I remember somebody asking me, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm a master copy of myself." And I thought, wow, that's, in retrospect, after I wrote the dream down, I thought, wow, that was pretty profound to say something like that. I'm a master copy of myself. Yeah, especially here now in the days of where we see a lot of clones going on out there, but apparently we use that cloning technology in the future to create master copies of ourselves and send ourselves back in time somehow, some way, to help with the awakening process. In another situation with dreams, there's an article called Rock Star Sammy Hagar Meets His Father in a Dream on the Night His Father Died. And this is pretty interesting. And this is an excerpt from Sammy Hagar's book, Red, My Uncensored Life in Rock. I have that book. But he said, one night I dreamed somebody was knocking at the door. I got up to answer it, wondering who could be knocking on my door in the middle of the night. I opened the door and it's my dad, only like he's 22, which is a master number, 22 years old, young and vibrant. So Sammy dreams a lot like many of us do. When we see people in our dreams, they're usually young and healthy. And Sammy's father goes, "Hey, son, great day for the Irish," he says. He's acting crazed, really happy, but drunk on his ass. And Sammy goes, "What the fuck are you doing here?" I tell him, "My kid's sleeping right here on the floor, right in this room. Don't ever come here drunk in front of my family. You're going to scare this guy." He's referring to his son. "Now get the F out of here." I slammed the door shut and went back to bed, and that's how the dream ended. 2 minutes later, somebody's knocking on my door again. I head to the door thinking, God damn it, I'm really going to chew his ass out this time. And I open the door. It's Don Pruitt from next door. "Your sister is on the phone," he said. I didn't have a phone of my own. I went over and picked up the receiver. My sister said, "Dad died." So I got goosebumps. My hair, look at that. My hair's standing up on end. But yeah, so his father visited him right before he died. So just the last paragraph in this article, Dad died in the backseat of a police car. They picked him up in a park in San Bernardino across the street from the nightclub in capital letters. So that was obviously a place called the nightclub. He had been living in the streets since we left him in that burned out house. After the cops had picked him up, they'd arrested 3 more drunks on the way downtown, and all the drunks started fighting in the back seat. One of the cops sprayed mace over the idiots, and when they arrived at the police station and got out of the back of the car. Dad just fell over for once. He didn't get back up. I often wondered what would have happened if in my dream I had invited him in instead of yelling at him. So yeah, that's goosebumps. And anyone that knows Sammy Hagar, watches or follows him, that's his confirmation that he has. And he'll say, "Oh, I got goosebumps. It must be the truth." You know, a lot of us feel that truth when we get those goosebumps. So when I was reading that, I had those goosebumps. And strangely enough, I'll be going to see him here in Tampa on July 11th. Got tickets to see him and Whitesnake and Night Ranger. So I'm going to open up the chat room. I could talk all night about my stuff, but I want to hear about your dreams and what you guys think about dreams and all. So I'm unmuting the chat room right now, and you are all live if you want to join in.
Well, I'll go ahead and start. Hey, everybody, it's Gary.
Hi, Gary.
I keep having a recurrent dream, and I'm going to try to do a screen share here for like the first time ever. I got to figure out how to do this, though. Let me look here. Stop video, share content. Okay, hang on.
Yep. And at the end, there'll be a stop share at the top of the screen. You'll get it.
Okay, here.
Green button, screen share.
Yeah, I see it says screen recording. Anyway, it's a picture of me back in the day at like one of my favorite places in the world, which was, hang on, let me see if I can bring it up on my screen here on my iPad. Okay, it's not there. I got to go back to it. There it is. There's the picture that I want to bring up. I just wish I knew how to do it. Hang on. Let me get back to Zoom now.
We'll walk you through it.
Well, I'm on an iPad and I'm doing it iOS, so I don't know if the way you guys normally do it is going to work for me. I have photos selected on Think Something here, and it says start recording. No, that's not it.
What you want to do is, you want to hit this green screen share button, and then just pick the screen that you want to share and click share.
Yeah, but you see, it's not showing up on my iPad. I'm working in iOS.
Okay.
Everything on your screen, including notifications, will be recorded. No, I don't want to do that. Now, okay, here I am back in Zoom. There I am. I see myself. Let's try this again. Share content. Screen photos. Let me go photos. Zoom would like to access. Okay. And hang on. Recents. There's my photo showing up on top of everything. Huh. Okay, that's not working either. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, it's a picture of me sitting in my favorite place in Kwajalein in the Marshall Islands, Kwajalein Atoll. It's halfway between Australia and Hawaii. It's actually the place where the United States Day begins. It's actually ahead of the international date line, and they artificially moved the date line so that Kwajalein's Day is the same day as the U.S. But I'm sitting on a bench. I have a big palm tree on my left. I have a couple of palm trees on my right, and it used to be my favorite place on the island. I called it my thinking spot, and I would ride my bike out there and just sit. And I mean, all you see on the horizon, everything from like 10 feet below, past my feet is ocean, all the way out to the horizon. And I would just sit there and listen to the waves crash and hear the wind blowing in the palm trees. And I mean, even today, I can close my eyes and I'm instantly there. That's my favorite place in the world, actually. And I used to ride out there at night also when the moon was on the horizon. It was like a silver highway all the way out to the moon. And if you sat on this bench long enough and you stayed quiet enough, there were a scattering of little bitty seashells and everything all around. You know, it was a sand on basically leading off to a small beach. And then the little shells would come alive. There were little crabs and little critters that would just start crawling around. And it was always fascinating for me to see the little animals come out and just start moving around like that. And when I dream, normally that's where I go, is someplace where there's ocean. It's an ocean world. That's where I'm from originally, I know, because I've always been called to the ocean. And anyway, that's my dream. That's my dream experience.
But you go back to a familiar spot.
Yeah, I go back to my favorite place really on this planet, which reminds me of where I'm from, which is someplace where there's water and there's ocean and there's palm trees. And I've always been called to palm trees myself. I mean, you know, you mentioned that the other day, that it was kind of a coincidence in your life. The same thing with me. You know, I've always had palm trees in my life. One of my favorite places to work at, working for the government, was at a defense media activity. At the time, they were renting a building in Alexandria. It was a civilian building, and the coolest thing is that in the lobby of the building, they had this huge metal palm tree that probably stood 30 feet high. And it was just like part of a little food court area where you could order food and stuff. And that's where I used to go and do lunch all the time, because I just liked that palm tree there. It was so cool. So it's something it's been a recurring theme in my life. And I can remember, you know, usually when I do remember my dreams, I'm on this island or on an island somewhere where there are palm trees and buildings, and I'm looking for something. So that's kind of like my recurring dream I have.
So you're going home on a much deeper level.
I believe so. And I mean, I'm always, you know, I'm healthy. I've got both my, you know, right now I've had a left below the knee amputation due to the diabetes that happened in 2007. And in the two dreams that are recurring, one is that I'm going back to this place, and the other one is that I'm in the military, in our military somewhere, and it's usually in the past, like in the 70s. I'm in my 20s, I'm healthy, I got both my legs, and it's always, I run into somebody from my current life that surprises me. Like one of the dreams that really surprises me is I ran into the guy. One of my favorite TV shows for years was The Big Bang Theory, because I always kind of identified with Sheldon Cooper. I kind of don't get along with people a lot sometimes, you know, and people have even nicknamed me Sheldon when that show was on. So that's kind of like the persona I have. And anyway, I ran into Wolowitz in the Army in the 70s in Germany. I thought it was kind of interesting. The guy who played Wolowitz, you know, and we were both looking for something. I don't know why, but there it was. So
Yeah. Yeah. It all makes sense. You know, when you look back in retrospect, especially once you awaken, you look at your dreams and it's like, yeah, now I understand.
well, I mean, I'm starting to recognize patterns of behavior. I keep doing the same thing over and over. I keep basically marrying the same woman over and over, and she's someone who is a narcissist, and you know, I get used. That's kind of like what happens to me, you know.
Yep.
So
Oh, I know.
hello. Yeah, anyway,
Karma.
Yeah.
so yeah, but now that I've recognized the pattern, and of course, you know, when you mentioned the shirts and the childhood trauma and I mean, all that kind of stuff, that really called to me too. You know, I've got 5 of your shirts now. I even bought one for a friend who turned out not to be a friend. So when I do run into my new significant other, I've already got one of your shirts for her. You know?
Let's hope she fits into it. I'm sure you
I hope so.
will,
Well,
because
I mean,
you already bought it. You knew the right size.
I'm only going to have a relationship with someone who is conscious and awake, you know, I mean, who understands energy and things like that, and empaths, and you know, the fact that someone like me, even though I really want to be in a relationship with someone, I don't really want to live with them. I want to live by myself, because I pick up too much energy from other people, no matter what I try to do, you know. So
I'm still blown away by that whole Sarasota sign that was in upstate New York. That's still there right now. And then
Yeah.
learned just today from one of our Patreon family members through a private chat on Patreon. She was telling me that flower, Florida, came from the word flower originally.
Yeah, it's somehow in the etymology of that. Yeah, I mean, like I'm in my hometown now. I'm here because I have to work through all this stuff. It's something I've got to go through, and I've been going through it, and
Yes.
I'm coming out the other side now. You know, I kind of feel like, okay, you know, I've done this, been there, literally got the T-shirt. It's time to move on. You know, and I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really called to, like, you know, someplace out like Arizona or Colorado. I was stationed in Colorado for 2 years. I loved it out there. I love the mountains. I love getting out to like Cripple Creek and places like that.
You know, it's funny because people have been talking about Colorado here on our spirit chats. So
yeah, I mean, we're, you know, who knows, you know, maybe that, you know, the old movie Close Encounters of the Third Time, where everybody's having a common dream experience, you know, and they're being called
I'm
to
not
a
having
place.
that dream. I'm exactly where I need to be in Sarasota.
Yeah. So,
Sorry.
I know that I'm about to start a journey. I'm really moving into a new phase of my life now, you know, and it's an exciting time. And like you say, I mean, like the fear thing, you know, like, yeah, I kind of thought I was going to go skydiving on my 60th birthday, but unfortunately, you know, to do tandem skydiving, you have to be below a certain weight limit. Well, guess what? I am now. I have been for the past year. And, oh, they have that kind of thing available around here. And my birthday's coming up in August. I'm a Leo, so
Awesome.
I think I know what I'm going to be doing on my birthday this
Heck
year
yeah.
already.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
why
blame
not,
you.
man?
I would. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, I know I've lived before and I know I'll live again, and this body is here to experience this world and this place. And I've always kind of had a fear of heights. Well, now it's time to get over that one, you know, it's time to conquer that.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. I'll be
You
there.
have to let us know how that goes. Get a video of it too.
You know, I definitely will. I'll keep everybody posted because, you know, you guys are like my star family, you know.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, there's no way I'm being led to Colorado. Obviously, I'm supposed to be here in Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah.
So yeah, here I am. So, but other people, yeah, and this is all part of, you know, we have Star Family, but we also have soul groups within this Star Family too that are supposed to be getting together. And I know that I'm connected to 5 different soul groups as well as one huge Star Family. So maybe this is all part of bringing those 5 soul groups together. So
well, if we're going to talk about dreams,
heck yeah. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, no problem, man. So my favorite dream, and actually it was kind of scary to begin with, because I was up on a ledge. Don't tell me how I got there. That wasn't part of the dream. But here I am. I'm stuck on this ledge. I can't get back into the building. And it's about, I'm going to say it was about 3 or 4 stories above the ground. And the only thing I do was to step off, and I glided. It's the first time I've actually had anything kind of like a flying dream, but it wasn't like I was flapping my wings and flying high. It was just that I didn't, you know, plummet to the ground. I had a glide pattern. And that was the coolest dream. I have remembered that from, well, that would have been back in the 1990s. So, yeah, I've had that dream. It's never left me. I've always been able to.
Are you like Gary and I, kind of afraid of heights?
Well, I'm not afraid of much of anything, because I used to climb Devil's Tower. That's how I busted up my ankle. I think I would be afraid of heights by now, but I'm not. Though, you know, I'm cautious. I don't want to fall again. that wasn't fun. That was not fun. I wouldn't want to do that again.
Yeah, like I mentioned though, and I've seen this many times for other people as well. Many of us are afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of much at all. But heights, yeah. But when I dream about flying, it just feels so natural. And I'm sure that dream that you had felt natural too.
Oh, it felt awesome. I felt awesome after that dream.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of other circumstances. The one dream I don't like, and it recurs every once in a while, is I'm trapped under something, and I can't get out, and that wakes me up. That's the only way I can see to get out of that nightmare. It's like once it was like I was trapped under a safe. that doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, it does. It does.
I'm a big guy. There's no way I could get under a safe.
No, there was something overwhelming going on in your life at that point, and
Right. Yeah.
that's
probably.
simply the metaphor for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something, the
Something
dream.
impressive. Yeah.
In the psychology of sleep and dreams, the example my professor gave me was that, you see this huge, 100-foot tire rolling toward you, and you're just like, and that's just similar to being under a safe. It's something overwhelming that's going on in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure at that time you probably knew exactly what it was, and you don't have to say it here, but yeah.
I'm just kind of curious, Phil, if I can just jump in just for a second, Phil, when you feel like you're trapped in your dreams, is it so like I'm very familiar with something called sleep paralysis, and I'm wondering if you've heard about that, and if so, would you say that it's something like sleep paralysis?
There you are.
Hey.
I thought your chair was talking.
No.
Hey guys.
I wouldn't say it was. It was more. Yeah, I've heard of sleep paralysis. I used to know a woman that suffered from that. But no, I don't think I've ever experienced it. I usually, when I wake up, I can move fairly quickly. I mean, I try not to now. I try because of something Greg said about, and it does help to remember your dreams a little bit doing that. Just stay in that one position. But it's not something that I'm forced to do. It's something I'm consciously doing.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, because for me, like, for when it first started happening to me, like with the sleep paralysis, I remember being on point. I remember being on an OP when I was in Iraq in the Diyala province, and I remember I just remember this. I fell asleep, and then I had this heavy weight, and then everything was so clear, like I was totally like 3D, totally walking 3D. My eyes were closed, but I could see everything around me. But I had this heavy weight on me, and what had happened was I was trying to reconnect with my body, like I was having like a waking out of body experience, basically, where I could feel my arms, but I couldn't make them move, and so I would just start, like, it really scared me at first, and I would just start screaming, like, I could feel my vocal cords, but I couldn't make them like move, and I remember screaming at my team and saying, hey, something's wrong, something bad is fixing to happen, and I mean, nothing bad happened. The only thing that bad that was happening was what was happening to me, and so when you said that about, like, having that heavy weight on your chest, you said it was a safe, that's, I find that really interesting, because for me it was I don't want to say it wasn't a demon. It was more like just a heavy weight that I put on myself, like this, so much stress and everything, and then all that stress, I allowed all that stress to come at me. And then what I would do is I would just lay back, and I would just allow that stress to overcome me, and just allow it to take over. And it's taken me a long time. I've overcome it. I've mastered it. Well, I'm not gonna say mastered it, but I've definitely have a really good understanding now of what it actually is, you know. And so that's what prompted me to speak out is
Well, you didn't even try to make that motherfucker, you son of
Yeah.
a bitch.
What?
No, it's just somebody.
Interference.
Yeah, I just had to mute that person.
So anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I think I can relate to what you were saying, Phil, but I just wasn't quite clear on the details of your experience and so I just wanted to share a little bit and to see if you can relate to what I was going through.
No, I hear you, brother. I hear what you're talking about. But no, actually, even in that experience, it wasn't exactly that I felt the weight of it, except when I was trying to rise up and get out from under it, and I couldn't do that. You know, it was kind of like I had this little opening, and I was like, "Why am I here? What is this?" And it took me a little while after I woke up that I figured, you know, something. This is oppressing me. So it was actually just I didn't feel the weight of it until I tried to get out from underneath it, and I couldn't move it. So that's the only weight that I felt. It wasn't like I was sleep paralysis. I'm not going to claim that. It was just a restrictive, an unpleasant feeling.
Fair enough.
Tracy on T-Light on YouTube was saying and putting this out there, and I think it would make for an awesome kind of poll, but she was prepondering whether air signs are more likely to dream about flying. It's a good question because yeah, I'm an air sign.
I'm a earth sign, well, a mutable one, but not that I don't have a lot of air in my chart. It just actually I've got 3 planets in each one of the signs.
Oh, that's good
T-Light,
balance. Yeah.
T-Light, I was in a conversation with her last night, and she took down my birthday and my time of birth and stuff like that, and she said, "No, you're not an Aquarius, you're a Gemini." And I'm like, "Well, that's the first I've heard because apparently my astrology knowledge is not capable of. I just didn't realize it, but I trust her, you know." And she said, "Well, you're still an air sign." You know, and then Greg, you just said like what you're talking about, like flying in your dreams. And I remember I've had a lot of dreams where I would just be flying through the air. Like, and here's the thing though, right? I'd be flying through the air, I'd be so free. You know, I would be I remember one dream in particular is where I was driving this camper and I hit this bump, and all of a sudden we just started flying in the air. Yeah, all of us, you know, all the people that were with me, we're just flying through the air, and there's no point in even holding on to the steering wheel at this point. You know, we're just flying through the air, but eventually we're going to have to come crashing down. You see, that's what I kept thinking. But the more I thought about crashing down, the more I wanted to avoid it. So we just kept flying through the air. I mean, you know, dream state is there's no real time to it. You know, so we just kept flying through the air, and we're just chilling. You know, we're having a good time. We're cracking jokes and stuff like that in my dream. And I just kept wondering, like, well, when are we going to hit the damn ground? You know, and we never hit the ground. It was just a very free, very how do you say, when you feel it, you go with it, right? When you have that good feelings, you just go with it. And that's what it was for me. It was like, man, this is a really good feeling, and I'm just going to keep going with it. I'm going to keep going with it. I'm going to keep myself up in the air, you know, and keep going with this really good feeling, you know. I wonder if that is has anybody ever had that, like flying through the air and felt that doom where eventually what goes up must come down? Or has it been like just that free feeling?
Yeah,
I've
well,
always been
I
in
would
control.
say mine was kind of like that. It wasn't exactly like it could fly. It's just that I had a glide pattern or glide path, and it was just, you know, floating along instead of taking off and just continuing. Though I did later on, and this was during a period when I was being, again, restricted in a different way. And I think that's why I had the dream, to just give my spirit the freedom that it wasn't feeling.
It's
I
interesting.
resonate with what you're
Just
saying
real
about
quick
flight timing.
on YouTube, Crystal's saying I'm a fire sign, and I have flying dreams too. So, but what I'm thinking is fire dragons, flying dragons. So it would make sense that fire signs could also have those dreams as well. That would make sense, right?
Well,
Fire
I
sign.
think. Oh, okay. Yeah,
I fly.
actually, I think anybody
What
can
what
have
about
them.
Leos? What about somebody born August 2nd? That's me.
That's a fire
But I
sign.
do have a lot of those flying dreams.
Yeah,
July 29th.
my daughter's
I'm a-
Leo as
I'm
well.
I'm a Taurus. I'm an earth sign. And I fly in my dreams, but I also astral project. So
I would see that would make sense too. Just like unicorns would be like a earth sign. So I guess.
But I'm
well,
on
and
the
even
cusp,
fish. There's
though.
flying fish, right? So water signs. I could see how any sign being,
But
it seems like air signs would be more.
I don't know a lot
likely.
about astrology. Does anybody else know in here? I'm on the cusp. So I was literally born at 0 degrees, 420, 0 degrees. So I'm like on the cusp of Aries and Taurus. So I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Well, okay,
some
so that kind of
people
puts
say
you
I'm an
into-
Aries.
Talk to
Some-
Tracy. Tracy's really good about that stuff.
Yeah, I've looked it up,
like-
and some horoscopes say I'm an Aries, some say I'm a Taurus. I mean, it's weird.
Tracy posted her Facebook page, so you might want to contact her about that and see if
Yeah.
maybe she could give you a little insight on it. I'm sure she would help you out on that.
Yeah, because I tried to look into it for myself, and there was just like so much stuff to it. And I tried to, I actually got to this point where I just, I tried to focus on like one planet at a time, and just try to learn all the different aspects to it. And I lost my focus on it. Scatterbrain, right?
Cross-eyed.
Cross-eyed, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. To the point where I got cross-eyed, exactly, and
Yeah.
and I just decided that I'm just trying to be comfortable with who I am, but if there's somebody else who could offer some insight into it, then I'm all ears, and just recognizing that I can't figure everything out for my own. I just let somebody else that I love and that I trust, Tracy, and help me out with it. And she's a really good person. She really is. She has a lot of love in her heart, a lot of love and a lot of respect and a lot of service to others. She really does.
So there's another dream that seems to be like a common one, at least for me, and it involves UFOs. And I mentioned one dream that I had. Another dream, I was, in upstate New York, of course, at this college that was at the end of my street. And I'm heading up toward the student union, and I look up, and it was so exciting because there was this huge mothership up there and lots of little scout ships up there in the sky as well. And everyone was really excited. So obviously it was a benevolent visit, and all these people were just like congregating. And I was walking up these steps to go towards the mothership. So when you're walking up the steps, you're ascending, you're going up. Just another thing to think about. Now, according to Dream Moods, to see a spaceship in your dream symbolizes your creative mind. It denotes a spiritual journey into the unknown and signals of self-development and self-awareness. Alternatively, the dream suggests that you need to take on a different perspective, no matter how bizarre or unusual it may be. Or it just might be, you're seeing something that's about to happen too. So, a lot of us see and sense and feel that something like that might be on our horizon. So I'm just curious if anyone else has had dreams of UFOs being on.
I see them.
Seeing them. Yeah.
I see them in my third eye. I see them coming in, and I feel them, and I see mostly orbs around the stars. But I told you before, about a year and a half ago, so many ships came in through the eclipse stargates, and I was like blown away. And I'm still, I don't stay outside long enough at night, or during the day to really look at the sky, but I feel them, and there's loads of them.
My sister the one that passed away in 2011. She this was a real thing that happened, a real experience. She was on her way to East Sydney Dam in upstate New York, or coming home, one or the other. I don't remember. Anyway, the next thing she knows, it was her boyfriend and a friend of theirs. The next thing they all knew was that they were on the side of the road and 4 hours had gone by and they had no idea how they got to the side of the road. The only thing that they all agree upon is that they were abducted for those 4 hours. Pretty interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They say if you see a ship at any time, that you've probably been on it.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
that's how it kind of ties into this anyway, because what she wanted to do was have a past life regression where you go into that, hypnagogic state. And so, she'd be in that deep sleep dream state where you could recall having that kind of thing. So, I know it ties into this whole dream theme somehow. But
That's
Yeah,
coming
it
up with
does.
me. I've signed up for a past life regression with Don Weiss, the guy who wrote Many Lives, Many Masters. It's in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. So I'll be doing that coming up in April. That's
Cool.
something I'm really looking forward to.
you'll have to let us know
find that
what
interesting
happened,
when
what
this
your
thing-
past lives were.
I
I-
had
Thought
one.
about. You had a
I had
regression,
Yeah, I had a QHHT regression
and
a couple months ago. I didn't really get into a lot of like past life stuff, but I did release a lot of loss from losing both my parents. They actually came through and kind of released me and said they loved me. So that was amazing. And actually my higher self came through and my guide. And I saw
Awesome.
myself. I'm sure you remember on when I was on the show or your show a couple days ago or last week when I was talking about my guide Sarah, the Syrian being. She came through, and I saw myself as a feline being in. It was pretty crazy. It was so vivid. It was like in color. I could see everything. I saw pyramids and I saw energy shooting out of the pyramid. And I literally I have it all recorded. It was like 3.5 hours long. For like 20 minutes, I just wanted to be in that space and that energy because it felt so amazing. And she just let me be in it. And I saw my paws. I was feline. I saw my paws and my hands, and I saw sand, and it was on a beach, and it was like a jungle. It was beautiful, and there was pyramids everywhere, and there was energy coming out of the pyramid, and I pretty much said that's how we survive, that's how we live, that's how we recharge, that's life. I cried a lot too. I cried a lot. I was crying about all the children and mothers losing their children in the war in Afghanistan. I was crying about that. Some really weird stuff. But it was very cool. But nothing like, like I was, no crazy past lives except for that. That was the one thing. But I thought that was pretty neat that I saw myself as a feline being.
Did you see any crystals on top of the pyramids? They say that there were huge crystals on the pyramids. Oh, cool.
It looked like, it was crystalline at the top for sure. And the light was just beaming.
Oh, cool.
I actually want to build my own pyramid and put I've been researching piezoelectric crystals. And I think that would be kind of cool to see exactly what would come of that if you built a little pyramid and put a crystal at the top. I'm sure the energy would be pretty fierce. So, but yeah, it's amazing. I suggest if you have not done it, to do it.
There you go.
Because I have struggled in general. Like I know Dolores Cannon did it, you know, to help people, and you can heal from it if you have ailments. And I mean, I was really struggling with the loss of my parents, so it was pretty amazing. So yeah.
So I'm wondering if people actually see, and I've put this out to people. I've written an article about it. If people see old people in their dreams, it's funny, a lot of people do see old people, but there's a lot of us that don't. And it's something that I picked up on, I don't know, maybe about 10 years ago, that I noticed nobody's old in my dreams. The oldest people I see in my dreams are my parents. My dad right now is 90, my mom's 83, but in my dreams, they might be in their 30s. And I think if they looked any younger in my dreams, I wouldn't recognize them. That's the only why they look so young or so old, I guess, in my dreams. In my dreams, I'm the oldest person that I see in there, and I'm in my late 20s. Most of the people are in their like younger 20s in my dreams. So I'm wondering if other people experience this, just seeing young people in their dreams.
Greg, if I could just jump in there real quick, one of the things that you talk about sometimes is about seeing watches or seeing time in our dreams.
Oh, and not seeing it actually.
Not seeing it. Yeah. Well, one thing I was going to say is
your chair talking again?
Yeah, it probably is. Sorry. But one thing, like I think it was about 2 nights ago, I was dreaming about time, and I had this watch on my wrist. And I kept looking at this watch, and I kept thinking to myself, time is running out, and I kept looking at this watch, and it was getting really close to midnight. And it wasn't midnight. It wasn't like everything is like really kind of screwed up when I try to remember it. But I remember after waking up, and I remember thinking about this dream that I had. Why am I thinking about this time? And I kept thinking, well, maybe it's because it's a countdown. It wasn't really time. It was just a countdown as far as something that needs to happen or something. But that's not the point. My point is that I saw a watch in my dream, Greg. I saw a watch in my dream.
And what was the time on your watch?
It was a countdown. It was a countdown to midnight, and it was about 15 minutes till. Okay. And I kept looking at it, and I kept thinking, something needs to happen. Something I need.
Well, isn't that interesting? Look at think about the time. Okay, so it was 11:45. 11 4 + 5 is 9. 11 9 9 11. That's interesting.
Oh shit! Stop.
Was it by chance? Was it by chance 11:42?
It was. I mean, I'm not going to say it was. It was. I say 11:45, but it was one of those hand dial type things. So it was kind of like subjective, it's around about this time,
Just out of curiosity too, do you know anyone that was born on or around 11/9, September 9th?
Close. You're real close. My sister was born September 14th. Is that?
Because sometimes that's a roundabout way of, receiving messages.
Excuse me.
So just curious.
Well, I mean, I just thought the whole thing was really interesting, because you're totally right. Like, when do we ever see time in our dreams? And then all of a sudden I had this dream about time, but like I said, it wasn't about time. It was about a countdown is what it was. It was, in my dream, it was an actual watch, but it wasn't telling me, about time. It was telling me about a countdown.
It wasn't telling you what it was counting down to either.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, I could try to extrapolate on it, but that's not, I wouldn't have any serious answers at this time. It was just
countdown to the event would have been nice.
Yeah.
15 minutes until the event happens.
Yeah. We're and this is what they do is what do they call it? The countdown to midnight is what they call it when the cabal talks about nuclear war and stuff like that. They say we're getting really close, we're 5 minutes to midnight or something like that, and I don't see it as a like doom, I just see it as like something's fixing to happen. Actually, oh my God, it just occurred to me. I just totally figured it out. That's exactly what just happened. I just had this conversation with a friend of mine, and she was telling me everything that I didn't want to hear, and that was the countdown. Oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah, a little personal. I don't want to go into details, but oh
Okay.
wow, I love talking to you guys. You guys are awesome. Every last one of you, man. I love every last one of you, man, because it helps so much just to try to make sense of everything, and then just all of a sudden you just express yourself, and then bam, the answers just start flowing in, right?
And that's the part of the beauty of dreaming, is when we do step outside of 3D time, we're able to do stuff that we, like my super ability dream I had earlier today. I've had other dreams. We've all had, many of us have had those dreams where we have these super abilities. We're stepping outside of time, which feels more natural than, this third dimensional Saturn Chronos locked into blocks of time schedule that we're in right now. This does not feel natural or right. But when we're on the other side of the veil, that's why it feels like our dreams are more real than what reality is here in third dimensional time space, because we escape this prison and we go into something that's more real for us, which is our dream state.
Greg, I got a funny one.
Go for it.
You guys, this is truly funny. For years and years, I had these wild dreams, these worlds with these weird gloppy things everywhere. I prayed for years and years and years to stop having these dreams because they were just so weird.
They were bad or?
No, they were just weird. And I truly wasn't enjoying them. And because they were so weird, I couldn't relate to them when I woke up, couldn't figure out what was going on. And so when I went and started in clay, I made some of the objects in clay that were in the dream. And they were so weird to receive that well, but they were huge and like 5 feet high and 3.5 feet wide, but I finally stopped having the dreams. I was so happy. So I have the opposite, but somehow I had to make those objects to stop having the dreams. But
you still dream, it's just not that dream.
Those dreams, yes.
Those kind of dreams, right?
Yeah, I see a lot of people of all ages in my dreams because of the gates opening and the different eclipse gates and stargates and the different and these days so many gates seem to be going on, but so I see a lot of people and a lot going on all the time, a lot of people. And years back, some 3 or 4 years, I don't remember, millions for months of people going through the gate, the eclipse, the Lion's Gate for months.
So maybe that's your job on the other side of the veil, is to help assist with these people.
Yeah, that's one of my jobs, it seems. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But my point was I see all ages. I see everybody. And because I had years of life drawing, I drew hundreds and hundreds of faces, and I've always been fascinated, always looked at people anyway, all ages, all different faces, very distinct.
So I'm curious if there's other people that are joining us here that only see young people.
Karen, I'm really intrigued about what she just said about seeing people of all ages. Could you maybe extrapolate on that? Like when I talk to people, sometimes I feel like age is never a factor. Like I see their younger self, I see their present self, and then I see their future self. And it confuses me, to be honest, so when you say that you see all ages, does that resonate?
The gates are occurring in, you could subjectively say real time, right? So
Present
when
time.
the Lion's Gate is occurring, it's actually open months. That one was open months ahead of time. And a lot of gates open way before the astrologers say they open. And because the energy is coming in and people are lining up. So you can imagine, like right now, the way people are right this moment, you line up 1 million people and you put them through a gate. And the way they are right now, their characteristics, like Gary has a haircut and his beard is cut, right? He just got a haircut. And so his characteristic, all the details are all the same. So that's it.
I think I understand. I think I understand what you're saying. It's a flow of energy that lasts from the present into the future, and it manifests into the present time. Is that?
No, it's daily. There's new people daily, every day, every night. There's new people going through the gate. So the energy, the gate opens, these stargates open, the Lion's gates open. Let's say the Lion's gate that it's occurring in that eclipse is July 14th. It's probably open in May. That one was open way early. Yeah, I mean, I started seeing thousands and thousands and millions of people. So in real time, so like tonight, if it was June, right, and we're in the Lion's Gate, I would see the thousands of people and tens of thousands of people that were going through the gate that day. And the next day, it's a whole different batch of people. It's trippy.
So are these like
Amen.
departed souls or departing souls?
No. They're people that are choosing. They're people that are making the choice to move on in their journey here. They live here, but they're moving on in their journey as a collective.
Okay.
As a soul group. It's you know what? I should ask more questions, but I just let it be.
Yeah, you should, because I'm wondering if they're waiting for us, like perhaps in like a 5D Earth kind of scenario, or waiting
what happens
another incarnation.
What I get is it's like a part of the staircase. So you go through this Lion's Gate and you're ready. Get ready for the next gate, for the next gate, for the next gate. It's not, there isn't one gate and there isn't one journey in this whole thing. So, and people are greeting, like I'm one of the greeters quite often, and they're greeting people and, letting them through the gate, but there's no, it's like a Stargate, just like you would see in the movies or whatever, but there's no, you don't have to qualify to go through. You don't have to do anything. You're just walking. They're just walking through the gate because they're ready. And then the people, maybe some people that weren't ready the last gate are ready at this gate and they're coming through. And all the people that want to go through this gate and their I am presence, they're going through. And each and every person I see that comes through the gate is completely, their own personal characteristics are there. It's very detailed. So it's kind of fascinating that way.
That's just amazing, Karen. I imagine your what you're seeing, and it actually sounds really beautiful. Like you're doing like soul work for people. It's like you're a guide. That's just amazing.
Well, we're probably, like everyone listening or on YouTube or in this group, we're all some sort of helpers, assisters, guides in the other sides in different dimensions in different ways, because we all live in these different dimensions. So, you know, we're all here. To me, my viewpoint is we're all here helping each other and guiding each other, even when it looks like crap. We're steering. The person that did that crap thing just steered me to the most, because I steered away from them, I steered into the most wonderful experience because I steered away from them. And that wonderful experience could have just been something inside of me that I learned, you know? So to me, it's all there all the time.
If I could just throw this out there real quick, and this is just for ponderance, you know, when we're doing a live show, Greg, thank you for the live show. It's really great. And then you post it on YouTube, and then there's going to be people who are going to watch this video tomorrow or the next day or something like that. It makes me wonder, you know, about timelines, right? Because what happens is we're experiencing this video right now. And then when somebody else comes back to experience the video 2 days later, it makes me wonder, is that like time travel, so to speak? You know, like we jump in there, because I've done it before too, where I see you had a show, but I couldn't get to it. So I'll look at it the next day. But at the same time, like I'm experiencing this thing,
as if it's in no time that you're still with us live.
Yeah, exactly. It may be 2 days old, but I'm there with you right now. You know, it makes me wonder, like, how many people in the future are watching this right now, but they just don't realize that they're in the future.
Maybe we're all in the future watching this right now.
Yeah, ponderance. I don't mean to, you know, just, you know, the way my mind thinks, right? That's why I'm an introvert, because I think about the stupidest things, you know.
Okay, well, I'm going to say that's a possibility. It is a possibility.
Isn't it though? Isn't it though, Phil? Like,
no,
well,
yeah.
Like, what's really going on?
Knows you were there.
Time is an illusion. There is only the now, and you can go either way. So there's a thing called, you call this reality space-time. Well, I've heard also that there's a thing called time-space, where there's only one dimension of space and 3 dimensions of time. So time is malleable. And I might be just saying that because I'm a mutable sign.
Well, I would say time is perspective, right? Like when you go to the box theaters and stuff, and the movie comes out on, let's say the movie comes out on July 1st. A lot of people go on July 1st to go watch that movie, but there's also, you know, half the population that would wait until July 15th to go see that movie. But when we sit down and we talk about that movie, it's like we're experiencing it in the same time, right?
Right.
Is that a form of time travel? Because there's feelings and emotions that are attached to it, you know?
You could subjectively say that.
It's just a ponderance. I'm not trying to make a big
Well,
deal
if time
about it.
doesn't exist, then it also is happening at the same time anyway, right?
Well, I would say, you know, if time exists, then do we choose when to experience that time so as to share it with other people? You see?
But everything is in the now.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything. Yeah, exactly. Everything is in the now.
Literally everything.
And it's all about perspective.
I thought I was still on mute.
No, thank you for joining, Lucy.
Yeah.
You made your debut here on our chat.
And with a kernel of wisdom.
It's interesting,
ya.
isn't it?
No, it is way interesting.
So what now that you joined us, Lucy, what are your thoughts about, you know, dreams? Do you have like prophetic dreams and stuff, or do you see old people in your dreams?
Yeah, I can say that I've seen babies and children and adults, and I don't know if it's the ages they were when I knew them in whatever lifetime. But some of my most recent dreams have been about flying and seeing people at various ages. And even the most significant one recently was about a month ago. And I dreamed of, the first thing I saw in my dream was my second born. He was playing baseball in a full umpires or catcher's outfit or something like that. And it was like I was a dog on the ground at his feet because he was like he was petting me. And then the next thing you know, I'm flying off. And the next destination or the second destination after that, I see him again as a toddler. Wasn't quite 2 years old. So, but I flew between those two dreams, and I remember flying just above the ground about 15 feet, so it was really bizarre. And I've had dreams of flying before, but they only started since I woke up about 15 years ago. So, but I used to daydream that I could fly if I jumped off of the loft in the barn or something like that, and I was always a daredevil for climbing to new heights, even though I had a fear of them, climbing trees or high bluffs or whatever. So, but yeah, I do see various ages in my dreams, and that's why I had to say, I guess it had to come out. Everything is in the now. So you're
Seems
going
like,
to see every age, I would think.
a lot of us had those dreams of flying when we were kids, and then
Yeah.
they
I did
disappeared
fly.
until we were older. But you just, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like, as we continue with our awakening process and do a lot of the clearing that we needed to do, it shows us that we're getting back to that purity that we had as children.
Yeah.
And, we're able to reclaim those dreams and what we were doing innately anyway on the other side of the veil all of our lives outside of this
Right.
third dimensional reality.
Right. Absolutely. So just being able to embrace that in your conscious state and your subconscious state, whether you're daydreaming or you're full on sleeping past your REM sleep, then in a nice, what is that, theta state, when you're really relaxed and go into the dream state?
For me, it's the alpha state, but
The alpha state. So I don't know
different for
all
other
of them.
people.
I'm not highly educated that way. So,
Technically,
but I'm
it's the
learning.
theta and delta state. I mean,
Yeah,
theta, I
okay.
think, is where we're dreaming, and delta is where we're oblivious to the world.
Well, nevertheless, however it is, it's something that everybody, I think everybody will experience it if they're supposed to, but just the idea of being able to fly was bizarre to me. The first dream that I had of flying was like I was jumping off of a balcony and scurrying down a pole, but then the bottom side of me went out to almost level with the top of me, like I was sideways. I wasn't falling, but my feet weren't attaching to the pole. I let go of the pole, so I couldn't go down, and I ended up flying over this campsite that I'd stayed at for 8 months, almost 2 years ago. So that was the first dream of flying I'd had in quite a long many years, since I woke up. And so when I got my Kundalini awakening, I was shock activated by someone touching me. And in an altruistic manner, they thought I was falling. And when they touched me to catch me, it shocked me clean through and just changed everything. And then ever since then, I've had so many bizarre dreams about flying, but recently the most significant have been like all over the planet, not just right here around where I live, but in different countries and different time spans for myself. So, and seeing my own kids at different time spans. So I think it's lovely what's happening and what's changing everyone for the better.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate
When I
you
was a
sharing.
little kid, I used to fly in the whirlwinds, and I would catch the whirlwind on my way to school or the way home. And I was light enough and they were strong enough that I could get up in the air for a few moments, and I would go around catching the whirlwinds and fly home from school.
Nice.
It was fun.
So Mark, you've been sitting there quite patiently. Tell us about some your thoughts on these dreams.
You were talking about dreams. Can you hear me? First of all, everything's okay?
Yeah, it could be a little louder.
Okay, I don't know how to do that.
Maybe sit closer to the microphone.
Thank you for this group, by the way.
Anyway, so yeah, I did want to tell you.
That's
first,
better.
I have seen older people in my dreams, but they're usually like masters of some sort.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like I had a dream where I popped into the room and here's this old skinny guy, and he looks at me and he goes, "You want to learn kung fu?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so we run around for a while, and then the dream ends.
Wouldn't it be cool though if you woke up and you knew kung fu? You were like a master
Yeah,
at
I
it.
know. Yeah.
The Matrix. Just download it into me.
Yeah.
We're talking about flying, and I actually had a dream where I learned how to fly. I mean, the mechanism of it, at least one mechanism. So the dream basically, I don't know how much you want to know about it, but anyway, I was in a community center and I was in a room and doing some stuff. And then this attendant comes and knocks on the door, opens the door and says, "Okay, we're closed." So I'm like, okay. So I gathered up my stuff and I'm really, really happy. So I'm singing along. I've got this song in my head. I can't remember what song it was. I wrote it down somewhere, but I don't remember. And I'm coming into this lobby, and in the lobby, there's this huge chandelier up on the ceiling. And it's beautiful. It's glistening and everything. And I want to see the chandelier. So I start singing. I just open up my heart and I'm just singing at the top of my lungs. And I start rising up off the floor. and I rise up real slowly. And then I start bumping my head on the ceiling. And it's like, wow, this is really cool. And then I was really, really happy. And then I toned it down a little tiny bit and I started to descend. And so I started making the connection between lightness, just being really light and happy, and also lightness and floating up. I floated back down to the floor, and then there's a place where like people eat in a convention center. Anyway, so I see there's this young man, a long-haired young man, and he's got a backpack, and he goes out these sliding glass doors and shoots off into the sky. And I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And so I run through the that convention center dining hall, and I run outside and I look up, and he's about 60 feet high in the air, looking not in my direction. And I'm like, well, I know how to get up there. And I start, energizing my happiness, and I start rising up. And then he shoots off, and he looks like a meteor or something, from behind. It's just, it's light like a jet, but it's not a jet, of course. It's just him zooming off. And I'm like, I'm going to follow him. So I'm having the time of my life this whole time. And I'm just zooming along, and I can see him in the distance, and these planets and stars and solar systems and things are going faster and faster and faster. But I'm following him, and then eventually I couldn't keep up. He just was gone. I was like, what do I do now? So then there's this planet right there, and I go down to the planet, and I'm looking around, and it's kind of like Earth, except it's grayer. It's I don't know. It seems a little dense.
Did the planet have a name?
Not to me. I'm just looking around, and there's these cars, and I'm standing on the sidewalk, and then this police car comes up and screeches to a halt, and they jump out and they say, "Stop, stop." And I'm like, I'm not going to stop for you. And so then I start running down the street, and then I start hopping, and then I zip off into space again. And I'm like, well, what do I do now? And, I want to go home. All of a sudden, this map appears before me. And on the map are different planets, and there's these different colored lines between them. And it was kind of three-dimensional. And I'm looking at the map, and I'm like, I don't know how to read the map, I want to go home. And poof, I was back at the convention center on the outside of it. And I was like, wow, that's how maps are supposed to work.
I wonder
Instant
if what you saw
teleportation.
were like ley lines, because we think about that. If as
Yeah.
above, so below is correct, so as below, so above, we have ley lines here on Earth. I wonder if all the planets have ley lines in between them as well, and maybe that's what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
showed the different connections for sure.
What about the plasma fields that have all
Yeah.
the lines that connect all the galaxies, planets, stars, and all that? That could be a form of travel, they think right now. They're exploring how you can travel on the plasma fields.
Right.
And you
Plasma
can see,
expressway.
There's if you
yeah.
look at suspicious observers, they'll show you sometimes these tendrils of plasma going between
Yeah, I love that.
stars, galaxies. Yeah, we live in a connected universe.
Do you guys, you know how
Hey, Lena.
they do the particle experiment? Hey guys, I just got off work again.
The
But you
particle
know how they
experiment.
do the the particle experiment.
The double slit experiment. Is that what you're talking
Yes,
about? Yeah.
that and how two particles that have been connected one time, quantum entanglement,
Oh yeah,
those two
quantum
particles
entanglement.
will have the same reaction happen at the same time, right? So I found out through Reiki years ago, like 9 years ago when I was 18, that the invisible lines between everything actually connects instantly to anything, no matter how far it is, no matter how many light years it is. You actually can connect instantly through those invisible lines that you can see when you're meditative, transcendental, magic mushroom. But those invisible lines exist and they connect all the photons and particles in our plasmas very, very far instantly.
That makes
That's actually
sense. You know,
something that I
True.
really, really
Yeah,
feel a lot.
I
you
equate
know?
Right.
those two, like hair, very fine, light, really fine light hairs. And
That's one.
like,
Yep. I
yeah.
can see them sometimes randomly, a lot more recently too, because I guess, we're getting closer to where everything is. But I can see the random lines
Yeah,
randomly.
there's
But they're not
there's
random.
loads
They
of them.
connect everything. And yeah, you can touch something instantly, no matter how far away it is, just by being on the same frequency. That's what that is. Those are like a web. We're all in the same field.
Well, I don't
Isn't
think you
that
even need to be on the same frequency. You can just will it.
Yes, you can. That's true too. Yes,
Yeah.
you can also have the thought, the will of it.
Yeah.
It'll go
Yeah,
out.
that's cool.
Yep, you're right about that. I love that. I think it's such a cool phenomenon. I love it.
isn't that just like when you're walking through the grocery store, right? And all you want to do is just go get your groceries and hurry up and get out, because I'm a total introvert and that's what I do, But every now and then I'll see somebody and I'll smile at them and I feel a connection. I'm not going to talk to them, I'm not going to engage in a conversation or anything like that, but I just feel them for a second, make eye contact, smile, it's all good. It makes me wonder, part of that quantum entanglement that you were talking about, isn't it true that that there is a big, huge worldwide grid where we've crossed paths before? We've felt something, maybe not today, but maybe we just remember something from the past or something like that, or maybe from the future, who knows? That quantum entanglement that you're talking about, that really resonates with me. That's something definitely that I think that I wish that more people would get in tune with it, because I think it would lead to world peace. But what do I know? But just that recognition, is like, hey, there's a lot more going on. Quantum entanglement, I know you, I know you, I know for sure I know you, but I want you to think I'm crazy.
How can you not know them based on what you just said? Because what I see with the grids is the grids come to get to density, everything's connected. It has to be just like if you were going to do a drawing. If you're going to do a drawing of, let's say, you, right? All those lines at some point are interconnected. So hard to put into words, but like you just said, the quantum entanglement, you can't get around not being connected. And when you look at someone, your light triggers that connection to the light streams, just like if it was a lot of
an activation.
Electrical lines, just like, because it's already there. So it's like you turn on the little switch when you look at them and share that line lights up more at that moment.
Well, if I can interject here, since I've been painting my dreams, you guys are talking about dreams. This is what I do for a living. This is what I dream of. I have dreams of different things, or I do readings for my mother, and some things pop up. So when I did a reading for my mom with the crystal ball, this is what popped up. You know, sliding your hands, walking down the boardwalk while you're looking at the beach. And this was, beautiful. I just started this today, literally at 5:30 this morning. So, I mean, when you're talking about everything being, you know, connected, when I look at this, you know, it makes me feel like, wow, I'm connected to source. I feel the creator. I feel myself.
Yeah.
So, connected. And this is what I do for a living. This is what I like to do. So I don't know if anybody else can feel the energy, but this is where my happy place is. So
It's beautiful. Beautiful painting. That's awesome. Did you paint that yourself?
And you are a creator.
I just started it today at 5:30 this morning.
Well, right on. Beautiful.
All of our lines of bodies are drawn by the same graphite. It's like everything is drawn by the same graphite pencil. And once somebody recognizes it, it activates it, and the graphite pencil lines all connect. And the white in the middle, it is part of it too. That reminds me of the picture I took of the sunrise this morning. I took a lot of sunrise pictures this morning right by a bridge. Amen. Even though that's a boardwalk, not a bridge. It's got, because I was up since 5:30 this morning too. I actually woke up at 5:30 and I went to the sunrise at 6:45. And I did a tiny light language video. Huh?
Yeah,
maybe you guys woke each other up.
I couldn't sleep all last night.
It was
Mercury retrograde had me up.
I gotta check the Schumann because there was so much energy today. I couldn't even take a nap before work. I woke up at 5:30, went to see the sun, clean stuff, you know, wash dishes, tried to take a nap before work, couldn't do it. Like cooked, you know, hung out and got ready for work extra early, but I couldn't be tired today. There's a lot of energy today, and I can see energy in that. And there was a lot of light in my sunrise pictures and my tiny light language video I did. It was 1 minute and 1 second. I didn't share it though, because I haven't shared any light language ever yet.
Yeah.
Just with my sister and my family and friends.
You might do it on here.
I might share it. I will. It comes all the time nowadays. Nowadays, it's almost constant. It's almost nonstop that I'm thinking it and speaking it to myself or to people around me. But I'm going to share a video soon. I haven't yet. It's good, though. It's good today. It's the stuff coming in today is exciting. I've been just excited all day on a deep level.
Please, when you share that video, drop a link so I can follow.
It'll be
amazing.
Me, Elena Sanchez. My Facebook page is Elena Sanchez. My other page is Space Cadets in the Morning. That's me and my sister's page.
Okay.
I'll drop a link.
If I don't forget, I'll definitely look that up.
Video for whoever's watching, whoever wants to see. I feel like you, Greg. Drop my link momentarily.
Right on.
That's what we're here for, to connect everybody together.
Isn't that what we do? That's the whole connection, that moment, when I'm at the grocery store and I just make eye contact with somebody and smile. It's a small, maybe other people would, probably say it's insignificant, but no, it's a connection, even if it's just momentary,
That's love
what we're
language.
doing.
That's love.
Yeah, but what we're doing right now is we're communicating, we're being humble, and we're explaining ourselves to each other. It's like, look, I can't figure it out on my own. Greg, I was just telling you, I had this thing, I had this dream, and I couldn't make sense of it. And then all of a sudden, like, oh my God, I just figured it out. A little personal, don't want to share too much, but oh man, it just brought out all of it, like it just, oh shit, it just all of a sudden just makes sense, Isn't that what we're doing, right
The
now?
What's
throat
interesting
chakra
too
is
is a lot of
genius.
people we're finding out after we have these chats, a lot of people are having amazing dreams that night as well too. So
That's good.
And
Indeed.
And
thanks
that's
everyone.
the throat chakra is just so amazing. Having the opportunity to speak and hear and witness and letting the energy flow through that chakra. Oh my gosh, the things that come out and
listen and feel and everything that goes with
yeah,
it. Amen.
yeah.
Amen.
Everyone's got
Okay,
amazing
so
stories to share.
I have something in here. You know how everybody talks about the flying? Everybody has the flying dreams. I used to call it your superpower. And I would ask people what their superpower was, and they just look at me funny. My son, I think, is probably the only one that I've heard that he doesn't have the flying dreams or daydreams, as you would say. He swims underwater and can breathe underwater and has amazing speed. It's the first person I've ever heard to say that, because almost everyone says it's flying. And he really doesn't even like the water.
Is he a water sign? Just out of curiosity.
He's a Sagittarius.
Oh wow.
Fire sign.
Crazy. So I just thought it was odd, because I have the flying alongside. I always just called it a superpower. And then the other gentleman was talking about how, John, he was talking about how somebody would see the video the next day, blah, 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 with the different energies, so on and so forth. There was a gal that I used to watch on YouTube, 2015, 14, 15, I think. Her name is Kelly Coffey. You guys might know who she is.
Yes.
And she used to send energy through her screen. She'd do like a meditation and send energy. And as she did this off and on for a few years, and she got actually better at it. And you could actually, I have 2 of her videos still saved today in my YouTube. And when I feel depleted, I go directly to those videos. It's almost like quantumly, John, that they still hold the energy. They still hold the energy. There was one particular video that I had actually had to contact her with, because after that, for 2 days, I was seeing, say, like in a black space, an 8, which obviously we know is infinity, except it was bluish white, and it was blinding, a blinding 8. And I had to contact her. It was probably one of her strongest videos that she had done, and contacted her and let her know what I was seeing. And she says, that's really funny. I've been seeing the same thing, and you're the only person that has contacted me with that. And I said, well, what does it mean? She says, I have no idea. But I thought it was cool, and I've saved that one as well, because energy.
I have no idea, but it resonates, and I'm here with you. Is that
right? Well, you were stating that people looking at the video days after, I believe that they hold energy. They hold energy. Period.
Forever.
There's people.
Well,
there's
I gotta
people
say
who
this
are,
one thing real quick. Kelly and I'll put this one out there. She is. I do not follow her. I unfollowed her. I removed everything that she has that was on N5D.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather.
Yeah, she got a little kooky after that
I'm
for a
not gonna.
while there.
I'm not gonna promote her. Period.
So if
You're supposed to
somebody
speak
can
at one of my
can I
conferences.
just jump in there, Greg,
Talking
real quick
shit.
about what
I'm
you
sorry.
just
I
said?
gotta get this out. Let me get this out first, and then you can jump right in.
Go ahead.
She was supposed to speak at one of my Austin conferences, but she was talking behind my back, saying lies to people about me specifically. And before she even spoke, I had a confrontation with her. And I will put this out there. I confronted her at the pool when she was drunk and supposed to speak the next day. And I said, "You are not speaking here or ever again. I'm removing everything from my website that is on there." And she admitted that she was talking shit about me behind my back. And no, there's no way. No, I'm not going to promote her.
Wow.
I'm putting that out here right now.
Yeah.
The truth
Yeah,
needs to
keep
come
it
out, and that is
clean.
the truth. So we are not going to promote her and anything she stands for here on N5D.
Well, namaste, Greg. I bow my head to you on this one because that takes a lot of courage to, to be so honest with people, and especially, sometimes we have to recognize that negative energy.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say is that, look at what you're doing. You're providing a platform. You're allowing people to speak for themselves.
Yes. Thank you.
You're a priest in my mind. In my vision of the future, you're not a priest because you dictate. You're a priest because you provide a platform. This is what we're going into. And I commend you on your courage for confronting her, and telling her your
Right.
truth. That's what I wanted to say. That's amazing.
It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate that. Yeah. I had people
Yeah.
that backed me up on this, that told me exactly what she told them firsthand about me. That was completely untrue. And I'm not one to do that to other people. So if she's going
Oh,
to do
talk
that,
to my ex-wife,
I'm
dude.
putting it, I'm
She
airing it
has
out
all
here
kinds
in
of bad
public.
stuff that she could tell about me. So,
I'm not
Well,
the kind of
not
person that
only
talks
that,
badly about
but
anyone, but that's just not my
good to
style,
keep
honestly.
it's good to keep all this clean, Greg.
Yeah.
You're keeping it clean, and
Yeah.
you're saying, you're even though it happened a couple of years ago or whatever, you're still
Yeah.
keeping it clean, and that you need to
I
do
wonder
that.
if that's when I stopped watching
That's
her.
good.
Me
It's been
too.
quite a few Greg. years.
I popped back on. Are you talking about Kelly and the Raw?
Yep.
That cat?
Yeah.
I don't want
Oh.
to talk about her though.
The
Oh,
website
okay.
Love Has
I was just
Gone is also
curious.
negative, and they sound all good. They're
Sorry.
not.
Yeah. Just be
Transmute and
careful who you
clear.
follow.
Yeah.
Greg.
Well, the truth and love and light will rise to the surface regardless.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
well, thanks for giving us the heads up because, I've been there, done that. I've always seen, I would follow people, and then I would get to a point where I like what they're saying, but then all of a sudden I heard something that I didn't like,
yeah.
and it's like, wait a
And
minute,
then you just keep moving.
and there's a lot of enlightened people out there, but they all have their own versions of what enlightenment really is, and I'm sorry, talking shit about somebody behind their back, that's
Stabbing
not
them in the back.
that's not
Yeah.
enlightenment. That's something totally different. That's an insecurity. If that insecurity manifests, then it becomes toxic, right?
Yeah, I was paying her to speak at one of my conferences. There was no way I was going to pay her. I didn't pay her. Obviously, she never spoke, and
Yeah. Screw that.
Yeah.
Screw that.
My definition, you guys, of maturity is when someone can be and show up and have heart-centered consciousness at such a deep level that they resonate, with everyone that allows heart-centered consciousness.
Mhm.
And when people are not showing up as being mature at any time or any place, you got to either call them on it, or if you can't do that in that moment, get away from them.
Yeah.
That's exactly, Karen. That's exactly what it is, because this is what we do. We absorb energy. We are antennas, right? And then when we realize that this is probably not a good energy for us to absorb, then we separate ourselves from it. We have to. You know, it's not being a narcissist. It's not being closed-minded. It's about, hey, this is not a good message that I want to receive. You know,
Well,
this is not making me feel good.
that's all about boundaries, but I'm talking maturity. You know, we need to recognize maturity. We need to show up with heart-centered maturity, and we need to, you know, when someone is not being mature, it's okay to let them know that.
Amen. Amen. That's
You know.
yes, exactly.
Let's get back on the topic of dreams.
Yeah.
I have a question.
So can I share one again?
Well, we have a new person here, Tamara.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, hey, Greg.
Hi, how are you?
I'm tired, but I'm good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So
I had a question for you guys. Right now I didn't have any of my dreams strummed up for you, but I was listening to the energy thing you're talking about. Do you know anybody who can help, like, direct somebody with that? Because I actually can feel like I guess you would say light worker, energy, clairvoyant, medium, intuitive, whatever. But I also can, like, do you know who Case is? He's that energy healer. Does anybody know who Case is?
No.
Yeah, he's like an energy worker, and he like heals people. And I've watched him online, and he's traveled all over, and he's kind of a funny guy. I really like him. And but it's like I need somebody to help me. Like, you know, I can feel it, I can move it, I can push it, I can help people, but I don't know really what the hell I'm doing. Do you know anybody who could help with that?
Subconsciously you do. Subconsciously you do. You know exactly what you're doing subconsciously. That's why you can do it.
Yeah.
Oh.
You just have to follow it.
Why don't
have
you
to
go
listen
to
inside how you're guided.
Why don't you go to like a local yoga studio and take a Reiki class or something, or find a Reiki
I was
practitioner?
gonna do the Reiki years ago, but like the guy who's a master, he's like, you know, Tammy, you don't need to do the classes. You have your own way of doing it. You don't need the steps, and he goes, you have your own way of like doing it. You don't need this. You're like,
so I want to interject.
I usually go to yoga twice a week, but I have to do water yoga because of my spinal issues. And I can do it in the warm water, just not, I'd probably fall on my face.
I want to interject because I want to answer your question with you, right? So when you are doing all that and you're saying, I want someone to tell me what I'm doing, you're the only one that can really tell you what you're doing. What I'm hearing is that you need to trust and sit with yourself and be with yourself and feel your energy and trust what you're doing.
Karen's on point with that one.
I agree.
Yes.
I'll answer it too really shortly. When I first started energy healing, I didn't know what I was doing, but somebody told me I flow energy for free to everybody. And I was like, oh, and my aura is unlimited, it's infinite. So I was like, okay, what do I do with infinite energy? So you probably have something easy like that. And if you just try it, you'll find out you're right. And follow anybody you know that does it truly. Like, I kind of like Eric Rains, even though he charges money for
I like him
stuff.
too, yeah.
But
He's close to
follow a
me.
few people and see, and it'll confirm, and do your research, and all your research will confirm that your feelings are right. Your intuitive feelings of flowing energy freely in whatever direction it needs to go. That's it. It's simple. You're doing it right already, literally. You're flowing it freely, probably. You're overflowing.
Yeah, just see it through
That's
your
how I
third
learned.
eye.
That's it. All you do is heal yourself to the point that you have extra left over to give. And if you have, your aura is so bright that it can brighten other people's, you're doing it right, baby.
Yeah, because see, like all day long, I work with like homeless people, mentally ill people,
You're
you
doing
know,
it then because they need
and
your love. They need
I'm
your
so,
compassion.
but I'm like so like I'm wiped right now. I'm like I came home, jammies, crawled in bed, grabbed my fruit. I did have a piece of garlic cheese pizza though, I will tell you that, and it was really good.
It's tough being
Open
an
up your
empath or a
palms,
super
lay
empath.
there, open up your palms with the intention to receive, and with your left hand and with your right hand, feed yourself the light and fill yourself up and take care of yourself. And then, and only then, are you ready to give to another.
Well, I have a suggestion. I've been doing qigong. I'm level 1 qigong,
Oh,
and
right
qigong
on.
has helped me manage my energy a little bit more and help me clear my aura. And you know, for me to
Yeah.
ground a little bit more, I would suggest trying to find somebody who teaches qigong and
Yeah,
seeing
qigong's
going,
good.
you know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I used to talk to Paul all the time. He's a do you do it with Paul? Is that who you the Sifu you work with?
No, I have a Reiki teacher named Tammy Schaefer in Peoria, Illinois. So I'm in Illinois. So
All right,
yeah, I go to classes one-on-one with people in this town, and they're pretty good. So
yeah,
I want
I
to say
really like
something here
that. Okay, I'm listening.
for you. Yes. You definitely need to go through the Reiki attunement because you should not feel drained afterwards. After
Yeah.
doing healing.
Oh,
You're doing
it's
it
so
right.
cold here right now. It's just cold, and my body doesn't like the cold weather. And I keep telling myself this is my last year here, but I have a hard time leaving my clients because a lot of people don't have the patience that I have for them. I love them, and yes, I get sometimes like, you know, but I just, you know.
Well, I can tell you from my personal experience, I got a Reiki attunement. I also went through the certification for Reiki, and I felt so much better after it. I was like you, I was drained every day because I was taking on everybody's energy and giving them all of mine. And I went and I got attuned, and I actually went for like a chakra clearing. Actually, it was at a yoga studio, but it's more of a new age studio, and it was a one-on-one session. And I mean, it was like almost like a massage. She went through all my chakras and tuned me, and then I had a Reiki master attune me, and I mean, it was amazing. So I think maybe you should do a one-on-one. I agree with everybody. I mean, it worked for me. So
Yeah, I've been kind of thinking about doing. I'd like to contact somebody to learn the. Allison Coe does it, the QHTT Dolores Cannon stuff.
yes, Allison Coe is awesome. I like her.
She's close to where, like 3 hours from where I am, but I don't know if she's a teacher.
She just started taking sessions again.
You BQH, and you can find the link right here and get a 10% off discount with the code N5D10. But Allison does this, Candace Goldman does this, and you can find this on N5D, the link for this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, check that out.
Hey, Greg.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say that possibly everybody's kind of getting a Reiki attunement just listening right now?
I would agree. What do you think, Phil?
Well, I could. Okay, so to me, attunement is one thing, is different from a Reiki session. So in an attunement, what they're doing is they're opening up your crown chakra. You're opening, so what you're becoming is a channel for the universal healing energy to flow through you. And this once you've got that opened, you'll never feel drained from doing healing work. Never again.
Okay.
Never again.
Yep.
I have never felt. The only thing I've ever felt from doing Reiki is I got into it as there was a young girl that was in a car accident, and I think she was right on the verge of death. And I hooked into that energy, and I was sending so much energy that it actually, this is when I was early into this, 10, 15 years ago. And it actually kind of burnt my hands. But that's the only negative thing I've ever had done with Reiki. And that wasn't really negative because I was trying to do a really big work. a really big work, because I mean she'd been really badly injured, and she was drawing just massive amounts of energy. But yeah, that's I'm a advocate of it, you know, but then I'm a third degree, so yeah. So that was the one thing I wanted to know. If you're close to me, I can probably help you out with this, because I can do the Reiki attunement and open up that chakra.
Hey Phil,
Well, I'm in
Phil, do
Washington.
you mind if I speak up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't be afraid to contact Phil.
Where are you, Phil?
I live in Deer Creek, Washington, or just outside of Shelton, Washington. But
Shelton? Okay, I'm in Walla Walla.
oh, okay.
Kind of right
that.
outside.
Yeah, not too far away. So we could I can't really travel around very much because I can't see to drive. But
well, I could probably travel to you. And everything's getting clear, the snow and stuff. So
yeah, that's a little hard for you to come across the mountains right now, I would think.
yeah, I'd have to probably do the long way, like 84, 84 through Oregon and then cross over.
84 miles an hour.
I'm a grandma driver.
Just teleport.
I know
I'm a
what
grandma driver.
I know which highway she's talking about.
Yeah.
But you got to go down to Portland or down to Oregon and then come up.
I actually prefer that drive.
That's
By
so
the water.
weird, you guys. It's so weird you guys are talking about this right now, because I just planned a trip to Washington today with my friend, and I know exactly what you're talking about, because we want to go to a specific mountain, and I saw that 84 you have to loop down through Portland to come back up. So I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, but I know exactly what you're talking about. That's so funny.
Cool.
That's
I
crazy
used
you
to
guys are
live
talking
there. I know
about
where
that.
it's at.
Yeah.
Well,
You
that-
like it? When are you coming?
It's gonna be spring
we're-
soon.
Yeah, well, we haven't booked it yet, but we looked at on all the flights, and we've been reading about the trails and stuff in the mountains, and the snow seems to be really bad in April, and we wanted to come in April. What is your suggestion for a good time to come as soon as possible, though?
Bring snowshoes.
Really?
June.
Well, it depends on where you're going. If you're going to
elevation,
Western Washington, come down Highway 84 and then up Highway 5, and that'll put you into Western
Well,
Washington.
we're gonna go all around. We want to go to East Seti, and then we want to go up to like Mount Index, that area
June.
up there.
Okay,
In
so East
June.
Seti, yeah,
June.
it's still 84,
June.
and you go across.
Yeah.
Well, you have to look on it on the map. It's on the actually on the eastern side.
I suggest June.
Mm-hmm.
June.
Yeah, when
have to wear
fishing
coat.
season opens in the June
Beautiful.
21st,
Mm-hmm.
the snow levels are down enough that people can get in, and that's why they don't start it till then. Is because the snow levels aren't down. The snow's not down enough for you to get in and out easily.
Really?
Yep.
Mm.
And June, it's beautiful.
Oh,
it's real pretty.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just antsy. I've never been to Washington. I heard it's beautiful.
But if you go in August, there's berries everywhere. And you can walk everywhere and eat berries, and it's wonderful.
Karen, I like your style, Karen. You're my
I
new favorite
agree.
person.
I love you.
You give off good
Sweetheart.
vibes.
Oh my gosh.
Good vibes and all
Beautiful.
love. I love it.
Just got a beautiful heart.
Beautiful.
She really does.
I
I feel like
love
when you give really good advice, I feel like everything that you've said today, everybody needs to be listening to you.
Oh, love you. Thank you. That's so sweet. Bless you, sweet one. Bless you. I'm enjoying all of you. I'm so thankful for everyone because it is so trippy to be a light worker. It's such a wild ride. Wow.
It is pretty crazy, right?
It's wild. Every day is like, woohoo.
It's a new
Y'all have
adventure.
encouraged me though. Thank you.
Who's doing the
Thank
singing
you.
bowl? Who's doing the singing bowl?
I hear it.
I hear singing bowl.
Is it Phil? Who's
Sounds
doing
like
it?
in somebody's
Oh
background.
no, he's muted.
I have you guys up on my TV, but I can talk on my phone here and look at you guys on my TV, all of you.
I can't see it.
Cute.
Oh, there's really a lot of us on here. Oh, I'm scrolling through.
Yeah, we're up to 12 on that are visible on YouTube right now.
Wow.
Right? Is that Rob over there that's doing the singing bowl?
That's what I'm wondering, because he's lighting up when I hear that.
Okay.
Right?
Somebody own up.
It's not me. It's not me. I don't know who it is, but
No, there's a Rob, not Robert, but a Rob.
Okay,
here
thank you.
that's picking up on. So anyone feel free to jump in. Our theme tonight has been dreams. You know, if you
Okay, that's why I came in.
Okay.
I had a dream recently. I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to like make myself vulnerable right now. I've been struggling with substances. There's no pot, no nothing. I went to bed with nothing, and I was instantly catapulted into this other like training grounds of who I was, what I was here to do. The goal was to find my son Skylar. And all I had to do was follow the path. All I had to do was follow the process. And anytime I tried to question the process, the task would change. And this went on, it felt like for many years. And at one point in my dream, I was shown a child. And they said, "This is your son, Skylar." And I said, "No, that's not my son, Skylar. He's grown. He's a grown man. He's 24 years old." And they said, "No, this is your son, Skylar." And briefly after that, something touched my arm and woke me up from a dead sleep of like intense dreaming. And when I woke up, I had this moment of going, oh my God, that wasn't about finding him. That was about finding myself. It was about finding who I am. And this is pretty emotional for me right now. So please forgive me, everyone that's
Holy
watching.
shit, Rob. Are you the same person I was talking to last night? This is John.
Okay, John, that was my son, Skylar, last night.
Yeah, we had this great long conversation last night, didn't we?
Yep, and him and I connected again today, and it was powerful. It was huge. Like I won't even get into that. So you know when you wake up from a dream and you feel like you're covered in sweat, you've perspired out of every pore of your body. I felt like that, and I started touching myself, and I was dry. There was no sweat. There was no perspiration until I reached to the top of my head. And oh my God, my crown chakra was soaked in sweat. Like I knew that the purpose of this was to find who I was, who I am, discover myself. And like the perspiration was just a total confirmation. This is beyond biological. This is beyond scientific. There is nothing scientific that can explain what was going on there. My entire body was dry except for this. Can someone like add to that at all? Phil, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, no, well, you know what I thought about it.
Yeah. So just so everyone knows, Phil and I connected tonight as well. Like, I'm not trying to come in here and take over this. I felt like I needed to share that and get that out there. I don't know why.
No worries. Relax. No worries.
Karen, you're a sweetheart. Oh my gosh.
Just relax. Enjoy yourself.
Again, I'm gonna say I love you, Karen.
I love you too, sweetheart. Thank you. I love you.
Yes.
Rob, we had
Love
that
you,
conversation
Karen.
last night, and Skylar was involved in that conversation, and you were just so you had so much love. You were expressing yourself in all this. I'm gonna say, dare I say, it was something possibly new to you, a different perspective, you know, and that's where the sweat may have came in, right? Because you exposed yourself just like you're doing right now. You're exposing yourself, and you're saying, you know, that there's something else. There's something else going on, right? Like there's a lot more to it. And then you brought your son into it, and oh my God, I feel so blessed that you brought your son into that conversation, you know, because I'm not perfect, but you guys heard me out and you heard my perspective and everything, you know. But what really happened, it was your perspective, you know. All I did was nudge in a way, you know, let me expose myself, let me tell you about myself, and let's see if it resonates in a way. And then you started getting to this point where you had this deep, real deep love, like almost like a, what do they call it, like unconditional love. You forgave yourself for a lot of things, and then you kept apologizing to your son, you know. And what had happened, what I saw, and I'm sorry, I'm probably throwing
Whoa.
way too much information out there, but what I saw was like
That's
a
lot,
self-realization, like a spiritual awakening on a different level. You know, you really went there, you exposed yourself, and you really went there into this whole really great spiritual awakening for yourself, you know. Isn't that what it's all about? Isn't this what we're talking about right now? You know, it's call it you can't call it narcissistic. I want to be a better person because I want to be a better person for those who are around me, you see. And that's exactly what you were doing. You were like self what do they call it, service to others, basically, you know. You disregarded yourself, and you're like, hey, I'm just going to throw this out there, and I just want it to resonate with somebody else, especially your son. You know, you just wanted it to feel good. You wanted it to make a difference, you see.
Hey,
you did it.
Can I interject for 1 sec? I wanted to pull
Absolutely.
a card for him
oh, right
because
on.
I just got a message from my guide to pull a card from him. And swear to gosh, it says pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. I'm not even kidding you. It flew out of the deck. That's why I'm mute. I went to go get my cards because I got a message to pull. And it says, thank you for tucking me into bed tonight and helping me enjoy a wonderful, restful night's sleep. I invite you into my dreams as my teacher and guide and healer. Please allow me to understand on a spiritual level and give me guidance.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what
Just had to interject. That's for you, buddy.
and with that interjection, I want to say that we don't want to disregard the flames of the chakras. The flame of the crown chakra is very big, and it is very bright, and it can get very hot and sometimes cold and sometimes crazy, and you can wake up with a sweaty head. So we want to remember the flames, because you have multiple flames, you know, within you, and each chakra has a flame, and then you have the spirit flames or the violet flame, and you have spirit flames, all these cosmic flames, and blah 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 blah. But remember the flame.
You know, I've never associated that before. You know, I just thought I was having hot flashes. But when your entire body is dry and your hair is wet, I never associated that before.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And it happens a lot.
Yep.
It's also diet. To change your diet, and you'll quit having the hot flash thing.
No.
Yeah, I don't normally get hot flashes at all, but I do wake up with a wet head, and my entire body is dry, which is odd. And I never associated that with the crown before.
When the energy is coming in, because it's coming in now multiple times a day, you guys have inspired me to start putting on a calendar after 15 years of this. So the energies come in multiple times a day, and they are huge, and that crown is getting busy 24/7 now. So, you know, with that crown going off, that flame is ignited, and depending on how open your crown and your chakras are, it's spinning, and that spin is electrical. It's all electrical, and the amperage goes up depending on what cosmic rays. You already got the voltage going. You already got that going. So the amperage, that's the stuff that really is the hot. When the amperage goes up with some of these high cosmic ray influxes, or, you know, whatever alignments going on, or the radio waves are coming in, that will cause that to happen. And it happens to me, like the other night, it was very cold out and I was broiling. I was cold for hours before I went to bed. I went to bed and I was broiling all night long. So, you know, it happens differently depending on what is coming on when.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now I'll have to really pay attention.
Yeah, maybe it's a good idea.
I just never associated it before. That's interesting.
Yeah. Now all the flames are coming together. Don't forget that either, because all the flames, depending on where you're at and how you're at that, all the flames of the chakras are blending together, coming together, and building and building.
Laugh it out. Laugh it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Amen. Amen, Karen. Amen.
It's a wild ride.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. God, I love you so much right now. I feel your laughter. I feel your joy.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Amazing.
yeah, it's all coming
Amazing.
together. It is. It's all coming together. It's getting close.
Rob, do you keep a dream journal and write down all your dreams?
Okay, there's a Rob and a Robert. Is that
okay? Well, the one we've been
you're
talking
talking
to,
to?
so is that Robert? Hold on,
Robert.
I'm scrolling through.
Robert.
Robert. Yeah. Do you write down all your dreams that you have, especially profound ones like you just had?
So interestingly enough, I've had this reminder set on my phone to remind me, like, every single day, start a dream journal when you get home. And I still haven't done it. Like, it's
you
a
need
reminder.
to do it.
Every time I
He's
pull in the
ignoring
driveway,
it.
every time I pull in my driveway, it reminds me to start a dream journal. I'm like, I'll get
Well,
around
here,
to it.
do you have your phone by your bed usually when you sleep?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I do sometimes. I just record an audio recording if there's something profound I want to remember, and then I write it in my dream journal later, or in your notes in your phone. You could just type it in really quick, because sometimes I have dreams, write it or acknowledge it right away. I'll forget midday, and then you can't document it later. So your audio notes or something like that could help you. You need to do that because you should connect the dots if it's something that's really bothering you.
So interestingly enough, T-Light Tracy, Teresa, she sent me this guy. I don't know if I should mention his name or not, but he's taking a lot of things biblically and like extracting it into what we're missing in the Christian world. I come from a Christian background, but anyways, all day today when I was listening to him, he kept talking about journaling, journal it. Like, don't freaking let this go. Like, make it tangible, you know, put it into a way that other people can understand it. And some of my dreams have been really, really profound. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I've been hearing about, you know, people talking about flying all night. That was a big one for me off and on throughout my life, where I just could fly. I just could freaking fly. Like, what the hell is going on? I'm flying in my dream. You know, what's been going on lately is I'm afraid of dreaming. It's so powerful. It's so intense. I don't know. I don't know how to get past this and just accept what it is. And I don't think I'm the only one. I think I'm saying
Don't
this with
feel
somebody else.
alone.
What's
I'm
that?
so scared of dreaming. I'm so scared of dreaming right now that I go to sleep and I'm like, please let me have some real sleep and no dreams, because my dreams are hard work right now. All my dreams are real right now. They're all hard work, getting rid of stuff and reconciling stuff, or going to other realities, or dealing
I
with
was just
stuff I
gonna
have,
say that.
whatever.
Are you?
They're all so
Do they
important right
feel?
now.
The
I wake
energies
up
are
more
rearranging.
exhausted than when I went to sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
please.
Are they feeling like alternate
sleep.
realities though? Are they feeling like
Yeah.
alternate reality? That's what
Hell
I'm going
yeah.
through right now too.
Guess what you can do? Guess
They
what you
feel
can
like
try and
real
do
life and
to
alternate
not
life.
go to an alternate reality? When I'm like in
What?
one and I'm like, I really don't want to go back to this same alternate reality. Wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm going back to sleep because it's 3 a.m. Well, I'll stay awake for a little while and I won't go back to the same alternate reality. If it's one I really don't want to go back to, like, dude, sometimes I
Yeah.
stay awake for a while, like 20 minutes, whatever you want to do, meditate, read something, read a book, smoke. If you don't smoke cigarettes, or like if you don't want to read anything, just meditate, light a candle, light sage, or just eat a snack or drink water, or go out and look at the stars for a second, look out your window if you don't want to open the door, but just stay awake for a little while and you won't go back to the same dream. If you go to the same sleep with the same tiredness, you go to the same dream. But dude, I've been going to so many different realities that I'm like, I just
You
need to stay
can.
awake a
You
long
agreed to
time.
do this. You can do this.
Okay, I know I
The
did.
cosmos
I
You
know
know
I
how
is
much
did,
help you're
but
rearranging.
doing and how much work you're doing on the other side. You're
It's
helping so many
rearranging.
fuck.
people. You're
I
helping
know
yourself as
I am because
well.
I keep
You
doing
can do
it.
this.
And I keep
Yeah.
meeting people, and the people I meet
Go,
are
Greg.
real. And the people I'm
Me
meeting are
too.
real.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I
And we
feel.
know, and
I
we're
Yeah,
would
like,
say,
they
yes,
are.
thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. We're here too. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on
Suck
earth.
it
I'm
up, Buttercup.
unhealthy. I
yeah,
eat French fries. Half my diet is French fries and coffee.
yes,
But
coffee.
yeah,
Well, you're
I
sent
would
to a
say,
coffee
certain
if I could just
dimension
add to what
because
you're
you have to
saying,
heal that process.
I would
You
say courage. Courage, it has a lot to do with it because, and speaking from my own personal perspective, Rob, I don't know exactly what you're going through, but speaking from my own personal perspective, what I did, I used to be afraid to fall asleep. I was terrified of falling asleep, because I knew that the sleep paralysis would come, and I was so terrifying. And then finally one day, I just decided that what, it's gonna happen. Screw it. I'm just gonna embrace.
Surrender.
Yeah, I'm gonna surrender. Exactly. I'm just gonna figure it out, and it's gonna suck, and I'm gonna be scared, and I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's just something that I'm gonna have to deal with. If I want to continue with this life, then I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So what am I saying? It's just my own perspective, Rob.
is that when you
yeah,
so you experienced
I
sleep
agree.
paralysis. So when you finally gave in to the sleep paralysis, is that when you left your body?
I would
Like
say, I would say,
to
I would
astral
say,
project?
I wouldn't say astral project. What I'm saying is like, okay, let's say, hypothetically, we live in a third dimensional world. I would say that I would fall into this lower fourth dimensional state, right? And
Oh, okay.
what I realized is what I was doing it to myself. I was in fear
You're our
of this.
worst boogeyman.
Yeah, I was in fear. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was in fear of this lower fourth dimensional state. And then finally, after the solstice last year, just before Christmas, I had this abundance of energy just grab a hold of me, you know, and I used to be in fear, and then what had happened was this energy just grabbed hold of me, and I woke myself up, and I was in this sleep paralysis or this lower fourth dimensional state, and I woke myself up, and I was astral projecting. I was doing something. I don't know what I was doing, but I was definitely, my body was asleep, my mind, my spirit was definitely active, and what had happened was I stopped being afraid. I learned to not be afraid of it anymore. And then so finally I got myself up. And I started exploring, you see. And what I learned from that is that it's just me. It was just me projecting fear onto myself.
You're your own worst boogeyman.
Yeah, exactly. I created the boogeyman, you know.
Well, I can tell you,
and then
we're not born with fear. We have to overcome it.
yeah. And then when I actually got myself up and started looking for the boogeyman, who are you? What are you doing? You know, what's going on? Let's talk. Let's talk it out, bro. You know what I'm saying? Guess what happened to the boogeyman? He disappeared. He disappeared, and it was replaced with unconditional love from the universe. It vibrated me. It oh my God, it was so amazing. And it just completely changed my whole perspective about everything. Just that acceptance, like, you know, that this is what I'm going through, this is what's going to happen, you know, courage, you know, and love, you know, and love is the key, you know. That's what we do, you know. We when we find ourselves in moments of death and despair, you know, what do? We get cold feet and we suck at it, or we just embrace it with courage and say, well, this is what's going to happen, so let's just let it happen, you know.
When I find
And
myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me,
Right.
speaking
speaking
words of wisdom. Let it be.
Exactly. Amen.
So actually, on that
Who is
note,
that singing?
we're gonna wrap it up this evening on that note. Thank you, John.
Okay.
Because here it is. I know you guys in Washington, you know, it's still early for you guys, but it's like midnight here.
It's midnight here.
Bless you,
It's
Greg.
11 here.
I want to thank. I'm sorry that we got started.
No,
so late.
you're
I want to give a
good.
shout out to Jana, who while we were on ordered 2 shirts, tie-dye shirts. So thank you, Jana, from in5d.net. And as I mentioned earlier, check that out at in5d.net.
I love my tie-dye
Also check
shirt.
out the our patreon.com/in5d. Join us there as well. I want to thank everybody. This has been an amazing conversation, as we've always had, and so many wonderful contributors that we've had here, as well as, you know, to everyone that's been chatting along in the YouTube chat room, making new friends there as well. That's what it's all about, creating our community and our family and bringing everyone together. And I hope that everyone's gotten a lot out of this conversation. And
Thank you,
so,
Karen. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, everybody, for just listening. And thank you, Greg, for hosting the platform.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
And
Thank
remember,
you,
attention
Greg.
to your dreams.
Guys, I didn't get a chance to say hi. I jumped on a little late, but I just want to say hi to everyone, all my spirit family out there. And
Thank you.
hi, Rhonda. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you. Thank you.
So,
All right. Well, yeah.
That's all right.
Good dreams tonight, everybody.
Yeah, I guarantee you guys have amazing dreams tonight. So until the next
Beat an astro projection.
this is Greg from N5D sending you all infinite love and light. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste, Greg.
And you can program your dreams.
Transmuting clear.
Hey, Phil, I love you, man.
Nice.